4 days after making landfall in Florida, it's looking like Hurricane Ian is one for the history books. Dozens of deaths, millions without power, billions in damage. Kris van Cleave assesses the aftermath.
Hurricane Ian, a Category 4 monster storm, roared ashore Wednesday near Fort Myers, Florida. Its 150-mile-an-hour winds tore apart homes and devastated businesses in its path. The storm surge, up to 12 feet, seemed to wipe communities right off the map. The deadly triple threat of wind, rain, and flooding makes it one of the worst hurricanes to ever arrive on Florida's shores.
This could be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history.
Concern over Ian was building for a week. The storm ravaged Cuba on Tuesday, plunging that island into darkness, the first time a hurricane caused the entire nation to lose power. First, Ian's track hinted Tampa might take a direct hit, something that hasn't happened in a century. But by midweek, the storm tracked further south, taking a path similar to Hurricane Charlie, another Category 4 storm that ravaged southwest Florida 18 years ago.
This is way, way, way bigger than Charlie.
But Ian was nearly double the size of Charlie when it came ashore. The storm spanned nearly the entire Sunshine State.
I've been here 40 years plus. This is by far the worst storm I have ever witnessed.
Fort Myers Mayor Kevin Anderson rode it out in a second-story downtown condo.
What is that moment like when you're getting walloped?
It's not something you want to go through, but if you ever go through it, it's amazing that the destruction that the wind and water can do, the force that comes behind that.
Ian's storm surge swamped the barrier islands. The bridge to nearby Sanibel Island lay smashed and broken, stranding hundreds who ignored evacuation orders. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis didn't mince words when describing the destruction.
And it got hit with really biblical storm surge.
But Ian wasn't done. After crossing Florida, it regained hurricane strength before slamming into South Carolina Friday.
Oh man, it's washing it away!
The scope of the damage is not yet fully measurable, not in dollars, and not in the many lives lost. Some 2.5 million people lost power in Florida. Louis Bryant just moved to this Fort Myers neighborhood. Wednesday, he had nearly 3 feet of water inside his new home. Saturday, his first mortgage payment came due for a house he now can't live in.
Just to get the house repaired and all that, it's going to take a lot of time. We'll figure it out.
The repair work, it's almost like, where do you start?
We start by getting the roadways clear so that people can get to where they need to be, especially emergency responders.
Before the storm, there were about 130 boats tied up to these docks. The force of the storm surge picked up the docks and most of the boats. Today, only 7 remain in the water.
This is our home. Everything we own is inside of here or inside of a storage trailer.
Patrick New didn't just lose his boat. It was also his home. A home that's in ruins.
So you're starting over?
Completely. Oh yeah. It'll be tough, but done it before. Do it again. I mean, everybody's going to do it.
5 years after Hurricane Irma, 30 years since Hurricane Andrew, both ripped through South Florida, the rebuilding has already begun once more.
I don't know if you ever get back to normal, but we will be back up and running before you know it.
Even if some think twice about staying.
Charlie was not this bad, and Irma was definitely not this bad.
So what's your takeaway from this one?
Get out of Florida.
This portion of Sunday Morning is sponsored by VivGuard.